Hello friends, welcome back. I'm Susan Clifton. I'm here in my Baca studio, in case you haven't been here before. And sometimes I talk about art marketing and things like that. Today I want to talk about creating goals for artists. So short-term, long-term goals, and really planning out our future. So as a business person, I know how important this is, and I notice that a lot of artists don't even think about that kind of stuff. So stay tuned, let's go. Before I forget, please subscribe to my channel, especially if you like to hear art marketing tips, and maybe you're a want-to-be artist or you just like to play. I also do some tutorials, so give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, hit that alert, and it'll let you know when I post a new video. As an artist, you have three areas where you want to create goals. You have your creative goals, where you plan maybe a future series. Maybe you do an imaginary exhibition. You don't have any plans for an exhibition yet, but have an imaginary one in mind and work towards that. So you have like a goal in mind that you're going to have 20 paintings, 12 paintings, whatever it is. What size are they going to be? What's the subject going to be? Plan out a really nice series of goals, creative goals, or maybe there's something new that you want to learn this year, or sometime in the future. Second, your financial goals, which are sales. So maybe you're just starting out and you're not thinking about sales yet. You're just, maybe the creative goals are the priority right now, but still, jot down some financial goals. Where do you want to be the first year that you're starting this new career? How many sales, and what are you going to do to produce those sales? And then you're going to have marketing goals. So what social media platforms are you going to use to get the word out there that you're creating this artwork? What kind of website? What type of platform for a website are you going to use? What are your skill sets? Are you going to hire somebody else to do it? That's all part of marketing and promotion and getting the word out. And nobody says that you have to do it all at once, but maybe in the beginning, make a plan to at least have a 4-page website with a small portfolio. And then you're going to grow that as it goes. And then you're going to get a Facebook page and a Pinterest page and an Instagram, of course. So just, write all these things down, and as you have this plan, you'll have some tasks that you're going to make in the near future. So goals should be broken up into short-term and long-term goals. So your short-term goals are usually like, planning this next year, or maybe the next 2 years, and not really thinking beyond that. Just, maybe you're thinking you're going to have an exhibition sometime next year, in 24 months. Or 18 months, whatever. And so what are you going to do in this next 12 months to work towards that? And then long term is more like 5 years out, 10 years out, and you might want to plan both. Imagine, dream big. Imagine what you're going to be doing in 5 years. If you do these things now, what is your life going to be like in 5 years? How many paintings are you selling a year? Where are you exhibiting them? What type of artwork? Has your work grown? Has it evolved? All of these things, put it down in your plan, in your goal-setting plan. So short-term goals, like really short-term, like we have monthly, quarterly, and annually, right? So the annual goal we already talked about. You're going to, decide what you're going to do this year. So now you can break it down into monthly and quarterly tasks. So each month you really should have a list of to-dos of what, besides creating artwork, yes, we're creative people. That's what we love to do. That's what we're dying to do. And we don't really like to do these other things. So you really have to write it down and make a commitment to yourself that you're actually going to do it and accomplish it in the next 30 days. And then you could have quarterly goals for the larger things that might take a couple of months to do. So, but each month you need to have a part of that project in your goals for that month, so that at the end of that quarter, you've actually accomplished that. And if you have financial goals for that quarter that involve making money, you have to plan that out each month. Like, what are you going to do to earn that money at the end of the month? This isn't a dream big and it's just going to come to you. You've got to make a plan. Until you're actually selling artwork in galleries, what are you doing? Are you doing workshops? What other ways are you planning to make some money in the meantime? So an example of a short-term goal. So let's say I decide that in the first quarter of my first year in business, I am going to make sure that I have a website built. So those short-term goals are going to be collecting, photographing all the artwork, preparing all the artwork to upload to a website, doing the investigative work to find out what kind of website that I want to build. Maybe, I don't know, writing the copy, writing my bio and artist statement. It's another thing we all hate doing. Having a photographer take pictures of us, because we really should be on our website. I know a lot of artists that don't want to put a picture of themselves out there. They think the artwork should speak for itself, but people want to see what you look like. They want to be able to connect with you, and they want to hear storytelling and all of that. So you need to start writing so that you get more and more comfortable with it. And maybe part of your monthly goal for that first month is to try to write a blog post in addition to a bio and an artist statement, or you could make that your second month goal, and that's part of your promotion, your marketing goals. But another example of a financial goal is maybe you contact a local art guild or something where they put on workshops, and you can write a proposal to them on creating a workshop for them. Now you have some money coming in. So another type, now I don't want to forget the creative goals. I know that part's the easy part for an artist, but everybody's different. So maybe you have the exhibit thing down, but maybe you want to do a children's book. Maybe you want to illustrate a children's book, or maybe you want to create some other kind of book, or maybe you want to start selling prints or something like that. These are, they can be quarterly goals that you could then break down tasks to find out, to do your homework on what that's going to take. So you have to sort of chunk everything down into smaller bits so that you can work on those tasks monthly. And before you know it, you've accomplished so much, you just can't believe it. So those creative goals could include, things like, how do I create prints? Or what new series do I want to do? And what kind of research is involved? Do I have to take photographs for, reference or whatever? So, those are all the same kind of tasks. Maybe you need to buy some new materials because the new series is going to be mixed media and not oils, or, whatever. Maybe your goals are also, your creative goals could also be to learn something new, because maybe you have a great idea for a new series, but there's a piece of the puzzle that you really don't know how to do yet. So you can take a workshop and learn from another artist to improve your skills so that your artwork starts to evolve. So I've mentioned evolving your artwork a couple of times, in my experience, we all think the work that we're doing at the time is great. We just think it's wonderful. But if an artist isn't evolving on a fairly, it's not, my work hasn't evolved probably in the last 2 years. I think it's starting to evolve just now, but I spent a good couple of 3-4 years where I was doing the same thing a lot. Always a new idea with every painting, but pretty much doing working on that same series. And now I'm getting a little bored with that, so I'm evolving it into something else. Still the same thing, still very recognizable as me, but slightly different, and with a nod to what I was doing prior to the last work that I was doing. So that's what I think is really important, that your collector base also, once you have one, sees that you're not just stagnant, staying the same all the time. You're reintroducing new ideas. So I'm going to talk about marketing again. Our marketing goals are very important, and even when you're just starting out, put the work out there. Put it out on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and let people know that it's for sale. Even though you're just starting out, maybe you've never sold anything before, why not? Start to build that kind of interest in your work. If you just put it up and it looks like, oh, so-and-so has a new hobby, how nice, isn't that pretty, but nobody's going to take you seriously until you actually start saying, here's my latest work, it's 16 by 20, this is how much it costs, DM me if you're interested. Something like that, just to let people know that the work is actually for sale. And don't think that just because you have a great social media presence, let's say you've already been doing that and you've got tons of followers on Instagram, like even thousands of followers on Instagram, that does not mean that you don't need a website. You still need a website. So now, of course, I'm a web designer, so you're thinking, oh, of course she's going to say that. But you own your own website. That is, as long as you really own your website. If you're with Wix, you might not really own your website. You can't take it with you if you decide to go somewhere else. But all of the content on it, you obviously own, and you can rebuild it somewhere else. Facebook could decide tomorrow to do whatever. Same thing with Instagram. They could just decide, they could change their algorithm to the point where nobody's even seeing your work, as they have done in the past. So when you have your own website where you could put your domain name on a business card, on a brochure, on a postcard, you control, who you send there and what they see. So it is really, really important, along with email marketing. So that is something that you should put towards a goal. If you want to start growing a mailing list, start from day one. Don't wait until you're more successful, because you'll just be wasting a lot of time. Each time you meet somebody, invite them to join your mailing list. Ask them, when they give you their business card, ask them if you can add them to your mailing list. Always ask. It's a permission-based email marketing program. So you definitely want to say that you have permission if you're putting the information in yourself. And definitely use a product like MailChimp, Constant Contact, ConvertKit, one of those. ConvertKit and MailChimp both have a free entry-level startup kind of product where you can, until you grow, you can have it on your website where you can collect the emails. It saves it in a database for you, and you can send out emails weekly or every other week, whatever your time frame is like. But definitely start right away. Don't wait. Even if you're just going to collect those emails and you're going to wait a couple of months to start sending emails out. But don't collect the emails and then never send them out. I've seen that as well. I have a friend she signed up for MailChimp. Well, guess what? MailChimp decided they were going to clean up their customer base. And if you weren't using the product, they deleted you. So recently she got deleted. So let me know in the comments below if you want me to do a more in-depth video on email marketing, because I have a lot to say on this subject, and I just find it's very valuable. So it's hard to think about what you're going to be doing 5 years from now, 10 years from now, especially when you're a little older. Okay, so 5 years from now, let's say you're just getting started now in your art career, or really starting to take it seriously. And it's just undaunting. Like, is anybody ever going to want to give me an exhibition, blah, blah, blah. Dream big, dream big. Write down everything that you would like to have in your life now and make that a long-term goal. So if you've never had a solo exhibition, write down that, don't put that you're going to have a solo exhibition in 5 years, because hopefully you're going to have it sooner. But write a little narrative on what your life is like 5 years from now. Where are you living? What does your studio look like? What kind of artwork are you creating? What are your buyers like? What are your sales like? Are you supporting yourself on your artwork? You get it. It's like, how big is your mailing list? When you send out an email, do people, go to your store? Do you have a store? Let's start there. Do you have a shopping cart? Or are you selling some other way? Is your dream to have that gallery in New York City or Miami Beach or wherever? Like, where do you want to be selling your artwork? Do you want to be self-represented? Do you want to have somebody else take care of all of that? Do you envision yourself having a studio with assistants and somebody to take care of the sales? Like, are you that successful in 5 years? Or maybe that's a 10-year goal. But write it all down, Then start to think about the steps that you can take to achieve that. Put those in your short term. So sometimes CBS This Morning does this letter to yourself, or letter to myself, I think they call it, where they have some famous person write a letter to their younger self. Like I think John Lewis did one where he wrote a letter to himself when he was 21 or something like that. And those are very powerful, but I think a letter to yourself in the future is more powerful, because now you're creating and you're manifesting that lifestyle. So definitely write the letter to yourself. Just tuck it away somewhere, or remind yourself, put it on your calendar 5 years from now to open that letter. Remind yourself where you put it. I know if I don't remind myself, I won't remember where I put it. But tuck it away somewhere where nobody's going to find it. Remind yourself where you put it. Remind yourself 5 years from now to read it, and see how well you did. But think about that. That's a way of manifesting. And I'm really into all of that. I'm into changing mindset and manifesting the future that you want. So that is a great way to do a long-term plan as far as I'm concerned. So thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this type of video. I wanted to do something a little shorter this week because it's a holiday week and I am so super stressed, and I have to start taking my own advice and taking care of myself. So I've had a really, really stressful last 7 days that I won't go into detail on, but we have to take care of ourselves. So that's what I'm going to do. This is a long holiday weekend with 4th of July. I hope you all had a wonderful 4th of July. I'll be posting this after. And I hope that you also are taking care of yourself this summer, staying safe, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.